Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel. Today we're diving into one of the most epic stories in history, the story of Noah and the Ark from Genesis chapter 6. It's a story about disappointment, hope, and a promise that changed the world forever. The world was a very different place in the time of Noah. Humanity was growing and spreading across the earth. But in the midst of all that growth, something happened that caught God's attention. The sons of God saw the daughters of men and were impressed by their beauty. They took them as wives. This may seem like an innocent beginning, but it was a turning point. God saw this and said, "My spirit cannot remain in man forever, now that he has behaved so badly. From now on, he will not live longer than 120 years." This was a significant change. The incredibly long lifespans that people had known until then were limited. At that time, there were also giants living on earth, the Nephilim in some translations. They were the children born from the unions between the sons of God and the daughters of men. The Bible calls them the heroes of ancient times, figures of mythical proportions. But their presence was part of a larger, darker picture. God looked at the earth, and what he saw broke his heart. Human behavior was steeped in wickedness. The Bible puts it very strongly. Of all their intentions, he saw that their purpose was evil. Just imagine that. Every thought, every intention was focused on evil. It was a world full of corruption and violence. The pain God felt was intense. It says that he regretted creating mankind and that he felt deeply hurt. This is an incredibly human description of a divine emotion. It shows the deep personal relationship God had with his creation and the pain their rebellion caused him. In his sorrow, God made a drastic decision. He said, "I will wipe them out. Not only the people, but also all the animals, creeping things, and the birds. I should never have made them." This was a decision for a total reset of creation, to cleanse the earth of the all-consuming wickedness. But in the midst of all that darkness, there was one ray of light, one man who was different. But Noah found favor in the eyes of the Lord. What a powerful sentence. In a world that had completely strayed from God, there was one person who still had a relationship with him. This is where the story of Noah begins. The Bible describes him as the only righteous and blameless man on earth. And perhaps most importantly, he lived in close fellowship with God. He walked with God. Noah was a family man. He had 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. While the rest of the world sank deeper and deeper into violence and corruption, Noah held on to his faith. God saw the utter chaos and said to Noah, "I have decided to wipe out all of humanity, for they are the cause of all violence and wickedness. Yes, I will destroy the inhabitants of the earth." This must have been a shocking message for Noah. The world as he knew it would cease to exist. But immediately after this announcement, God gave him a mission, a task that would save his life and the future of humanity. "Build an ark out of acacia wood," God said, and he gave incredibly detailed instructions. This was no small boat, it was a gigantic ship. Coat the wood with pitch to make it waterproof. Divide it into decks and compartments. The dimensions were colossal, 150 meters long, 25 meters wide, and 15 meters high. That's about 1.5 football fields long and as tall as a 5-story building. An architectural masterpiece, especially for that time. God also gave instructions for the design. There had to be a light slot or some kind of window, 0.5 meter below the roof, running all the way around the ship. The ship had to have 3 decks, a lower deck, a middle deck, and an upper deck, and an entrance had to be made on the side. Why this enormous construction project? God explained it. "I am going to bring a great flood of water upon the earth that will destroy all living creatures. Everyone and everything will die." This was the method by which the earth would be cleansed. A worldwide flood. But in the midst of this judgment, God gave Noah a promise of hope. "But with you I will establish a covenant." A covenant is a sacred binding agreement. You will be safe in the ark with your wife, your sons, and their wives. The salvation was for Noah and his entire family. And it didn't stop with people. God wanted to preserve life itself. He gave Noah the command. "Before the flood comes, you must bring a male and a female of every animal on board so that they will survive the flood." This was a massive logistical operation. A pair of every bird, every kind of livestock, every creeping or other animal had to be brought on board. The diversity of the animal kingdom had to be preserved. And of course, all those people and animals needed to eat. So God added to this. Also, provide all the food that your family and the animals will need. The story ends with a simple but powerful sentence. Noah followed all of God's instructions. He did not hesitate. He asked no questions. He trusted and obeyed. He began to build, to gather, and to prepare for the coming storm, holding fast to God's promise. In a world that was about to perish, this story raises many questions, but above all, it is a testimony to God's justice in the face of sin and His overwhelming grace for those who remain faithful to Him. Noah's obedience in the face of an impossible task is an inspiration to us all. Thank you for watching this deep dive into Genesis chapter 6. What do you find most striking about this part of the story? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories from the Bible. See you next time.